There's an aspect of the Republican platform, if I could call it that generically, this year that hasn't been discussed much in New Hampshire. It deals with the social issues that I see you talk about a lot. I don't mean you personally, but the group of you talk about a lot in other venues. My recollection is you are opposed to abortion. Can I ask, would you be satisfied with just Roe versus Wade being overturned, or do you want to criminalize abortion in all states?
These questions are so difficult. Obviously, I wouldn't want to send a young woman to jail if she made that choice, which I would not agree with, and try to help her with adoption and bringing the baby to life and all that. But no, I wouldn't want to put a young woman in jail if she decided to do that. My job really is to try to make people aware of my belief that life begins at conception, and that my belief that all of us are created equal and endowed with certain inalienable rights, and those rights apply to the unborn as well as the born. But in all due respect, my old friend, when we get into what would you do to this person, what would you do to that person, and that, I would just like to focus my attention on trying to encourage Americans and young women who become pregnant to bring that child to life and assure them that that child will be taken care of, and she will be as well, as she goes through this agonizing and difficult process.
Well, if I can defend the question,
sure.
I respect your answer to the question. If you'll respect my concern that if you're in the White House, you will be able to make decisions about my children and my family.
Yes, sir.
And I, at that point, I won't be able to talk to you. So
you and I have had so many great discussions.
Well, we have, but
I'll come back as president, and we'll engage in it.
Can you we're running out of time, but can you make a very brief explanation as to what it was that you reportedly said about this being a Christian nation?
I misspoke. I'm not asking for any sympathy. There's a line of questioning that what I've always said 1,000 times, and what I intended to say, is that we are a Judeo-Christian valued nation. And if someone is of any other belief or faith or whatever, and they want to run for President of the United States, and the majority of Americans vote for him in the democratic process, I support that. And I just misspoke, and I've been known to do that from time to time.
This aspect of faith seems to have been very large in this Republican campaign, and not so large in the Democratic campaign. And I'm wondering, do you have any reservations at all about whether your faith or Mike Huckabee's faith or whatever ought to have any relevance for me in a democracy?
Well, I think you ought to know about my principles, and I think you ought to know about what guides me. And I understand the emphasis that continues to be placed on these issues, and to a part of the Republican base, that is also very important. I just answer the questions. I don't and respond to them. I don't invent them.
Well, would you have I guess you're saying that your faith is your business, and that you don't have any designs for the rest of us based on it, right? And specifically,
no, my faith is something that I'm not embarrassed to talk about, but it's something that was developed through a long life of experience and a lot of mistakes and a lot of things. That's why I'm such a great believer in redemption. And I think that people ought to know about people's faith and what guides them and what the principles and values that they hold. But more than that, I'm not sure. But everybody has a legitimate right to ask questions. The question, it's in the answer, and my answer is, that I am a Judeo-Christian valued person. Faith has been my faith and belief has been an important part of my life, and that's pretty much summarizes my views.